Unanisikia Leon?
Ninakusikia.
Usishout. Hata nisishout. Niongee tu normal. Nikaa na kuongelesha.
Let's go.
What's popping? Unajua nasikika kwa video yangu. Mnaniambia haraka, semeni tu action alafu muache nifanye.
And action.
Mkwe professional? Sawa. What's popping, you guys? Welcome to This Is Me, episode 3. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm so excited. Go tell me, did you come? The problem came where on Friday maybe I had a bridal and I needed to go to work. So they started kukua na tuongo hapa kule. Like at times now when I look back, I see that God was there. But at that point, I didn't feel like God was there. If anything, I stayed away from him. In 2017, guy, why do I keep saying 2027? So in 2020, what's popping, you guys? Welcome to This Is Me podcast episode 3. Yay! I'm so excited, guys, for this episode. And if you're new here, welcome. This is Me podcast, where we talk about everything life, everything purpose, where we mix beauty and women empowerment. Like literally, we're just like women who are helped by God, and we're just looking forward to sharing stories that bring you encouragement, stories that build people up, and stories that are purpose-based. Yeah, so if that's your vibe, beauty, everything women empowerment, and everything Jesus, please keep on watching. Oh yeah. So on today's episode, the year is 2017. 2017. The year is 2017. Oh my God. Yeah, so guys, if you haven't already, check out the previous 2 episodes, because in this series, we're doing a mini series about my journey of discovering my purpose. So you might float if hauja watch the previous episode. So if you haven't, pause hapa, kwanza watch that episode and then come. The year is 2017. Yeah, so in 2017, guy, why do I keep saying 2027? So in 2020, in 2017, I'm still in employment, and I'm figuring out why am I here? Like, what do I need to do with life? Because at this point, I'm not really like excited, and I'm not feeling like I'm fulfilling purpose in my previous employment. Yeah, and I'm looking for what next. And as again, go check that episode. And so I find the YouTube channel, I find out about makeup, I meet Jemo. Thank God for Destiny Helpers, because like we need Destiny Helpers. No man is an island. We all need each other. And I thank God that in my journey, as you're gonna hear, like I'm gonna highlight so many men and women who have come through to help me to get to where I am today. Yeah, and so in 2017, I start learning makeup, and at this point, I'm getting better and better. And actually, by the 3rd quarter of the year, I start getting clients. And one thing I wanted to highlight is where This Is Me was birthed. I remember it was July 29th. I can never forget that day, because that's the day where I now know how to do makeup. Now what next? And I thought of like a collaboration where I needed a photographer, and then I would do the makeup, and then I would get some models to model for me, so that we create this content, because again, social media was coming up. So I needed like some sort of content so that I can start sharing out my work. And so if you're there, by the way, and you're just starting up, you should try collaboration. Don't try to figure out on your own. Like there are people out there who are also willing to collaborate and create something that will push your brand even further. Yeah, so that was my journey for me. I remember we worked with Jackson Mwangi, the photographer, and then I had Helen, she does design. And so we came together, we went to Ibis at Westlands, and we booked, they gave us the space for free, by the way. I also really thank the people who invested even in my dream from day one. Yeah, so we went there. I had like 5 models. Myself, I was a model as well. Yeah, and so that's where This Is Me was born. And even that time, I didn't have the name for it even. We just went, did the content, and then we started pushing. And so at this point, I tried creating a look for bridal. I tried creating a creative look, and just like simply like makeup, like to tell people that now this is what I'm doing. And then from there, it was looking for a name. And my husband has Truly, and I keep saying I'm not mentioning him because he's behind the camera, but he has really helped me in my journey. And also today, another person, my very first YouTube video, he's called Leon. He's here today, so he's helping us shoot the episode 3, and also he helped us on the first season. So even this is like affirming me that this is what God wants me to do. Again, destiny helpers. So my husband started helping me to come up with the name. So we came up with the name The Artistry because we were trying to be unique and not just say makeup. I mean, creative people. Yeah, and also we opened up the pages, we made the contract, especially for bridal. Again, that's a whole masterclass. If you want to learn how to do makeup and to start your own makeup business, that's why you should look for me at The Artistry. Yeah, then we can discuss further on that. Yeah, but basically at this point, he's helping me brand. And so I started getting clients, and it was good. So now the problem came where on Friday, maybe I had a bridal and I needed to go to work. So they started kukua na tuongo hapa kule, and now it was very hard to like do both the makeup and still do the 9 to 5. And so by December 2017, I was already feeling like, oh, it's time. I need to quit. I need to figure out now this industry. I need to be full-time outside, And also at this point, I think that's when I started the YouTube channel as well. Because for me, YouTube was a point of marketing, not necessarily like the money part of it. I think is also good, very good actually, but it wasn't my motivation. My motivation was like, I really like this thing, I just want to do it. And so that's where I opened my channel at that point, V in Progress, and that's where you're watching this from if you're not listening from Spotify or any other audio podcast channels. Yeah, so by 2018 January, I made the decision to actually now quit the 9 to 5. And I remember at that point sending that letter and saying, this is my last month. If I need to train any employee, this is the time to bring them on board, And I was so excited. And so I did this end of January. So that now Feb would be my last month. And so that was it. It was a good month. I communicated to all the branch managers that I was handling and all that. And I remember the day of quitting, it was 27th Feb, and it was supposed to be my last day. And that last day, it's when I got a call from my dad that my brother had been shot. And it's now 6 years since that happened, and it doesn't get easier, but I think also the Lord has really helped me. But that is one of the most saddest days of my life. At this point, it was just a lot. Like, because me, I knew he has been shot, he will be okay. So even by the time, yes, I'm crying, but I knew like I'll go home and then we'll go to Meru. Like just a backstory, I think I'll link, we did a video with my sisters around that time because we were pushing for justice for Evans. So I'll link the video here. If you're not aware, he was a student leader in Meru campus. He was shot by a police because of greed and because he was just leading a strike that was not going away. And so they decided to assassinate him. And to date, we haven't gotten the justice. But like I keep trusting that God will do it for us. Yeah. So that was the saddest part. And I don't want to focus much on that because I don't want this video to be emotional and I don't want to cry. Yeah, but I remember in that season, I really questioned God. And my questioning was from a point of, yani, you told me to quit. Because at this point, guys, I had really prayed, like, God, tell me if it's the right time, because I had failed so many other times before, and I didn't want to make mistakes. Now here I have a family, I have a husband, I have a son. Like, I didn't want to just make decisions around me and what I want. So I really had involved God to ask him, is this your plan for me? Is it time to quit? And then I quit, and then my brother passes and I lose focus. And that season was really tough, guys. I remember I don't think I took any clients since now Feb, that time, all the way to August. Even some bookings I had for March, I had to cancel because we had a barrier to prepare for. And like, at times now when I look back, I see that God was there. But at that point, I didn't feel like God was there. If anything, I stayed away from him. Yeah, so yeah. I would need a minute. So that was a hard season. Looking back, even some of the things that have happened to my family, like my brother dying, really contributed to it. And it's hard, guys. It's really, really, really hard. It's even harder to think that someone would take someone's life and just, just like move on like nothing happened. Like, we are living in a very evil world. Yeah, so let me fast forward to August. I think it was August 8th. August 8th, 2018 now. And that's the first time I got a makeup gig since now quitting my job. And I remember it was in Nakuru. And like, I get emotional at times thinking about that day, because I truly see how God was in my story. Because I remember I wasn't even supposed to get a client. So my husband is an MC. So they had this client, she was coming from a Jew. So they were emceeing that time with a friend of ours called Sir Alex. And so they were meeting the client. So babe told me to just go with me. We have lunch before the client comes, like a car date, and then he can meet the client and then we go home. And I was like, fine. So we went. And it was just nice being outside. And at this point, I think I was maybe healing, or just like coming to terms with, like, it happened, like, now what next? And so I remember she was called Lucy. I can never forget. So when Sam went to meet with her, she was her children and the husband. And Sam left me at the table now we had sat, and she told him, like, come with her. And so I went to the table. And so we're there, she's talking to him about emceeing, and then in that introduction, he gets to introduce that I'm a makeup artist. And she was like, I don't even have a makeup artist, why don't you come and also do the makeup on that day? And I had been so bitter with God. And at times that's how the enemy wants. He wants to get us to a point where we get to see God as a bad God. Unaget, like, God can never be bad. He is good. He is a good father, and he can never change to be bad or anything else. His character, he's good. And so at this point, I've gotten to a point where, like, if he's good, why did he allow it? The why and all these questions. And so by this time, this lady, like, for me, I saw love, because she had no business even inviting me to their table. And then eventually, like, the wedding day came. It was August 8th. And this is the testimony, guys. So remember, sija work, and nimekuwa nikiambia God, hata kwa nini you allowed me to quit my job? I wish ningeka kwa hiyo job, because now I would be having an income. But now I'm in a situation where I'm going through grief, I'm going through pain. Like I cannot even I don't have an income basically. So at this point, I go to the wedding. It was in Nakuru, I can never forget. And Lucy tells me, like already her makeup, I'm just gonna give figures. It was like half maybe the salary I was earning. So I was like, this is really good. But tell me how. On her wedding day, she tells me, apply makeup to everyone. Everyone, like her family, because she was from the US, so she had booked ISO Airbnbs for all her family members. So they were all in the same venue. And so she was just like, just apply everyone and then you will give me a bill after. Guys, I'm not even kidding you. I'm not kidding. Like, that wedding paid me not a penny high, not a penny less of the exact salary that I used to be paid at my 9 to 5. And for me, I didn't even think about it that time. Like, it came to hit me later, like after like nimelipwa, ndio inanihit like, wait a minute. Like, God gave me the exact amount that I was earning in the employment. And so for me, that was like God telling me, like, I said it, like I meant it. Because at that point I was like, did God really say? Like for the months that now I was going through this grief and pain, I questioned. I thought like, God did not say this. Maybe nilijiambia, but that one thing, like the exact figure that I used to earn in a day. For me, that was like the confirmation I needed to know that God is in this, and that is the assurance that He gave me that I said it and I'm gonna do it. And since then, I have not looked back. Since then, I have now tried to be better. I've tried to ask God, what's next? What's next? And even though the journey hasn't been smooth, even though in the journey I've still had my moments of doubting that, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? But I know God spoke to me. I know I'm in the right place, and He keeps affirming me even now. Again, as we continue with the series, you're gonna see like how all things work together for our good. And so this is to encourage someone. I don't know the situation you are in. I really do not know, and I don't know who will get to watch this episode, but I know that God will send it to the right people. But my encouragement to you is, like, at times God will speak, but the circumstances and the situations and the season that you're gonna get into won't look like anything like He said. But I want you to know that God is not a man that He should lie. That's what the Bible tells us. And the Bible also says that all things, not some, all things work together for our good. Even when we don't understand, even when it's painful, even when you feel like, Mimi, I can't go on, always take His word to be true, that all things truly, truly work together for our good, for the good of those that love the Lord. So if you are involving God, if you are a Christian, if you love God, and even if you're not a Christian and you're out there and life imekugonga right, left, and center, like, try Jesus. Just say yes to Jesus and then involve Him and ask Him. And I'm sure that He will. The Bible says that He makes every crooked path straight for you. So like, it doesn't matter. Like, that time was hard. Like, sometimes it's still hard. But the beauty is, like, I don't have to do it alone. Like, God is there with me. Like, I never have to do life alone. And so, like, being a Christian is not easy. It's not the easy way out, but it's worth it because you have God. He's higher than any of us, and He promises that He will never leave us. He will never, like, let us down, you know. So with that assurance, I'm just like happy. I'm happy that I know God. I'm happy that even that situation that could have broken me, like, He used it for my good. And so I think I will leave that there because I just feel like there's just so much to unpack there. And this is even to people who are grieving. If you have lost a loved one, like, I know how it feels. I truly, truly know how it feels. And for me, it's to pray for you that even in this season of grieving, even in this season of feeling like, why did God allow it to happen? Just know, even in that, it's working out for your good. And you might never even see it, you might never understand, but just having that hope that God is good and everything that happens to you, whether good or bad, works out for your good. And even what the enemy meant for evil, He turns it around for good. So be encouraged, and if you're still in the journey of finding purpose, if God has told you that this is the path I want you to take, and it doesn't look like God spoke, hadi unaanza kumuuliza, did God really say? And the enemy will come with that lie. Remember in the Garden of Eden, he asked, did God really say? And so for me in that season, I was like, did God really say? Ama did I send myself? But be encouraged that if he said it, he's faithful to bring it to completion. And as long as we give our plans to him, he definitely establishes them. Yeah, so I think I will leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this episode encourages someone. I hope that my life journey encourages someone. And I hope that even as the Lord leads me to share and whatever he puts in my heart, I just hope, even if ni mtu mmoja tu, I just hope like it gets to encourage you and know that you're not alone, and know that you're loved, you're chosen, like you're set apart, and you're not here by mistake. You're here for his good works. That's what Ephesians tells us. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, leave me a comment, share this podcast with someone, and until next week on Wednesday, bye-bye.